It's 7 p.m. on a Monday evening, and we have some big news coming in. Global media reports and details which Republic TV has also accessed, once again pointing out at what could be biological warfare. We have details and the document from 2015, which is now also being investigated by the US State Department. And we have a very, very special guest joining us on the broadcast this evening. Without wasting any time, let me quickly introduce on the show this evening Dr. Li Meng Yan. Dr. Li Meng Yan is a virologist and also a whistleblower speaking to us from New York this evening. Good morning to you, Dr. Yan in New York, and good evening from all our viewers here in India. I don't know whether you had the opportunity to go through this report, but last year when you spoke of, good morning, last year when you spoke of a lab-made virus, Dr. Yan, your work was quickly discredited by a few, especially in the Western media. Today we have access to a report from 2015 of how China's PLA allegedly planned to weaponize coronaviruses, something that even the US State Department is investigating. Dr. Yan.
Yes. So this textbook actually is published by the PLA bioweapon expert General De Zhongxu and also the senior officer working in the General Logistics Department of PLA, Chinese Liberation Military Army. So they are the one in charge of it, and also they get the full support from the PLA officers and also, of course, Chinese Communist Party government. And this is published through the military medical press. So this is a textbook, and for the common sense in China, textbook means this is something definitely has to get fully approved from the government and then get published. Means this is the same thing the government want and going to do.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Li Meng Yan, what do you know about this document, this 2015 document, or the PLA alleged module on coronavirus? This report, we are told, is now being investigated by the US State Department. What do you know about it or the module?
Okay, actually, I looked through this book, and also I'm translating this into English with many of our Chinese volunteers, and we are going to present this to the world in English to help people understand it more. So from what I know, that this is a very good evidence to support my 3 reports and to verify that the coronavirus COVID-19 is actually the Chinese government's long-term non-traditional bioweapon project. I called it as unrestricted bioweapon project result. So this coronavirus from SARS-1 in 2003 to MERS in 2010, and then now it's the third time had the outbreak among the human. And among all these 3 times, China is always the country which study it best, because I work in the WHO reference lab in the University of Hong Kong. We are the top coronavirus lab in the world. We have the top coronavirologists leading by Professor Malik Paris and so many other famous people. So we know China government actually have the best materials and knowledge about this. And also from SARS-1, they really realized that this is a good material to develop the non-traditional bioweapon, which means the mortality doesn't need to be high. It can be low, but the main result is it can be long-lasting in the society. It targets human very well, and it's invisible, easy carry, also stable in the environment. And also, the secondary damage will ruin the enemy's society and also economics. That is a key point they want to achieve by using this unrestricted bioweapon. which you can see are verified in our reality now.
Now, one second. Now, you're telling us, Dr. Yan, you're telling us that you're translating the book, and if I heard you correctly, you're also telling our viewers that the point of this module or this doctrine was to paralyze growing economies, if that's what I heard you say correctly. And you're saying
Exactly.
that the intent was also to paralyze the medical system of countries. Is that correct?
That is part of the things they want to reach by using this unrestricted bioweapon. Because if you use the traditional bioweapon, they also have explained in their textbook that people may die suddenly, the mortality may be over 10% immediately, but that is easy to be found and easy to be identified as bioweapon. But this bioweapon, you know what is the key point as non-traditional and also unrestricted? Because it looks like nature occurring. That is the most important character of this non-traditional bioweapon, this unrestricted one. And they said the only good standard to identify it from the really nature occurring pathogens to the artificial, lab-made, lab-enhanced coronavirus is to check the natural evolution progress. If it doesn't match the natural evolution history, so that means this is man-made from the lab. That is all presented in my previous 3 Yan reports. We go through the scientific evidence and also intelligence evidence. And also I mentioned about this book in the 3rd report published at the end of March. So these are the things they want to do. And also the emphasis in the textbook, that is, if people from other countries or even people among them stand out to speak the truth out, then their management is to deny and lie. So that is the unrestricted scientific misinformation campaign, as we see now all over the world, from the Western to China. And also you can see what happened in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China. You hear about it every day. You know that is lie. You know the WHO origin theory, the report is lie. But what can you do if you don't have the law or if you don't understand how to deal with this? Then you're wasting your time, and that's also China government want.
Are you saying that the WHO report is highly biased and refused or failed to get into the details and the scientific study? Are you simply calling it a cover-up job?
Yes, I think more than cover-up a job, it's basically a hilarious job. I mean, we may never see such hilarious official report from the big organization like WHO in our history. From the beginning to now, from the January 2020, when I start to review the WHO cover-up with Chinese Communist Party when I was in Hong Kong, until now, we see WHO is working with Chinese Communist Party. They have a lot of hidden connection between the scientists and also the Chinese Communist Party. And also they work to promote the nature origin theory. They try to emphasize that this is something not related to China. This is just something you would meet. And if you meet it, you need to learn from China government to know how to suppress this virus. But actually in China, they are celebrating their anti-COVID trophy because after 1 year, the economic is broke up in all over the world. But China government thought they are the winner.
Yeah, that's true. Last year, now assuming that this report is accurate, and assuming that this report is found out to be true, last year you challenged social media giants to debate your research paper. Do you believe this report has proven you right? Do you think now
Yes,
countries, social media platforms, researchers, scientists will have to look at it more closely?
what I want to tell is, since I stay in public from last July in US, China government actually used a lot of money and spent a lot of effort to attack me. Actually, that's even before my first appearance on Fox News. They started spreading rumors online and dismiss my reputation, deny my work, and also they have a lot of cyber army, those kind of woman military. I think Indian people may be very familiar with them now. And also they have influence by the media, by the journalists, and also they have their scientists like the Robert Gallo, the big HIV guy, the Titan, in the University of Maryland, and also like Professor Gigi in the Johns Hopkins University. Such people, they start to write the hilarious report, full of lies, none about the science, to refute my reports and my work. But now we say, after half years, although I list all this, part of the Chinese Communist Party, PLA scientists, and also overseas scientists who are working in the misinformation campaign, and also I use the point-to-point refute to response to them in my third report. None of them can stand out and face-to-face with me, have the live show on the influential media to tell people their evidence. And the people can judge my evidence compared to their evidence. Let's say whether this virus is come from lab, whether this is a bioweapon, and most importantly, whether this virus is intentionally released to attack people. So from that time to now, I haven't met any of such people, even from China government. They cannot send any expert come out to face to me and argue with this. Yes, this document is just one of the evidence which support my statement. And that statement actually back from the last January until now never changed. SARS-CoV-2 is made in PLA controlled lab using their unit. They discovered Zhoushan bat coronavirus ZC45 or ZXC21, and that is bioweapon to attack people. It's intentionally released.
Okay, one last question before I let you go, Dr. Yan. Do you believe there are various vested interests globally, vested interests who want the truth to be hidden? Now, do you believe this time around, if the US State Department is investigating this report, Australia is talking about it, different countries around the world are looking at it, do you think there will be accountability or a cover-up?
I think they are investigating it because we can say it's a good progress. But I also want to remind the government and also media that there are a lot of misinformation and there are a lot of people, they pretend to be expert but mislead you. For example, there is a very famous theory that the coronavirus actually is from man cave in west of China, in Yunnan, which Dr. Zheng Lishi, the bad woman, went there to search it and bring it to the lab, and by accident, it's released. So this is not real. And how this government and also media get involved into this theory, because there are some people online and also in secret spreading such misinformation mixed with real information to affect the innocent Western people, even in fact affect the innocent Chinese people. So that's how I said China government has also write in that textbook that this is the way you can manipulate, deny, and also cheat, and they have no idea, and their time gets wasted. But you should know that in a unrestricted bio warfare, timing is very important. If you waste your time, then you waste your chance to win this battle. So I'm happy to see more and more people start to realize it. People
Dr.
woke up
Yan.
and the media woke up. That's good thing.
Now, Dr. Yan, I want to ask you something. Now, you seem to know something about this doctrine, this module, whatever you call it. Now, the obvious question is, if let's assume China has launched this biowarfare. Now, some of the questions that people have on their mind is on what scale it is happening, and if there is an antidote to regulate it.
Tyson, you mean from when it starts? Can you repeat your question? Sorry, I didn't hear it well.
Yes. Yes. Now, how is it that how is it that, let's assume for a second that it was China that introduced this biowarfare. How is it that China itself is not affected? How is it that the Chinese population was not affected, was spared? Do they have a drug, an antidote? How are they regulating it?
Okay, first, let me tell you. In China, there are more people died, far more than you know, from the number reported. And that's why from last January, I need to stand out and tell people through the older media, anonymously, to deliver the message out, tell that China government is covering up, and if not hold it under control in time, the world will suffer a crazy pandemic even. But unfortunately, it become true now. So in China, especially from Wuhan, the place that we see the virus start get outbreak, there are many people dead, but the government doesn't care about people's life, even though that is a Chinese citizen's life. You know, if you know our history, you will know Chinese Communist Party never care about human life. They thought they have 1.4 billion people, which is very cheap and useful when they need. So that is basically just like some material you can throw out after using. So based on that kind of thinking, they just let people die in Wuhan and all over China, and then they suppress the numbers, suppress the voice, suppress the media. That's the thing. Finally, you saw in China, the damage is very little. On the other hand, that China government, because they design it, although what I can tell you that there is no magic antidotes and there is no efficient vaccines against COVID-19 based on the character, based on the nature of this virus. But China government also know that some cheap and safe drugs like hydroxychloroquine and also other drugs can be used for treatment. And also very important thing is hydroxychloroquine combined with other drugs can be used as safe. And also the early treatment is very, very important. But somehow they try to mislead some other countries. And I say it seems, works. So for example, in US, we say they don't allow doctors to use hydroxychloroquine. We said the previous top medical journal even published the fake data to suppress the effective management by using hydroxychloroquine to save people's life. And also in China now, people are still under the very inhumanity control. That means they can lock down you at any time if you want. That is worse than you thought the lockdown happened in UK or US, and people basically just get locked at home. No drug, no food, no water, they don't care, just to lock you like in the cages. And also they give compulsory vaccine by using their poor quality China-made vaccines. All these things are very terrible. And of course, I know I can tell you that the higher level officers, they know how to take hydroxychloroquine and other drugs as prophylaxis because they know that it's much better than their vaccines.
Yeah. Dr. Li Meng Yan, I thank you for your time and for speaking to us. We will be in touch. We can go on and talk about this. I think it's a longer conversation. But we will speak on another day. Thank you for speaking to Republic TV this evening on the biggest story tonight.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to do it later with you.